If you're using Perplexity the same way you use ChatGPT, then you are wasting it. Most people type in a question, get an answer, and move on. That's not how this tool works, and once you understand the difference, you'll wonder how you ever made business decisions without it. In this tutorial, I'm going to turn you into a Perplexity super user. Not someone who knows which buttons to press, I'll do that as well, but someone who understands what this tool actually is and how to get genuinely useful answers out of it every single time. You'll be using Perplexity AI for business growth and world domination. I'm Heather Baker. I've spent the last year helping over 1,000 business leaders get fluent in AI, not just the tools, but the thinking behind them. I have an MBA from London Business School, a master's in psychology, and I've built and sold businesses at 7 and 8 figures. So when I talk about AI for business, it comes from actually running businesses, not just commenting on them. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is that Perplexity is not a chatbot. It is a search-forward reasoning engine. That distinction matters. When you ask ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini a question, they generate their answer from their training data. They're calling on what they learned during training, which has a cutoff date, and then they might also search the web, but mostly they don't. Perplexity works the other way around. It searches the internet in real time first, retrieves actual sources, reads them, creates an answer from those sources, and cites every claim, every single one. So why does that matter for your business? Well, for three reasons. First, auditability. When you're writing a proposal, briefing your board, or advising a client, you have to show where your information came from. Perplexity helps you do that. Doesn't do it for you, but it helps you. Second, recency. The information is current. It's not from a training set that stopped 6 months ago. Third, triangulation. You can verify claims independently because the sources are right there in front of you. ChatGPT gives you confidence. Perplexity gives you evidence. But, and this is important, both can be wrong, and they often are. So that's why this Perplexity AI tutorial exists, not to sell you on Perplexity AI for business, but to make you genuinely good at using it, which means knowing where it fails. When to use Perplexity versus ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini? This is the question I get asked more than anything. People have 4 tools open and no framework for choosing, so here's one. Use Perplexity when you need current information, when you need to verify claims, when you're researching competitors, trends, policies, or news, and when you're building a case or a recommendation. Use ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini when you're brainstorming or drafting, when you need creative or strategic thinking, when you're working with your own documents, or when you need complex reasoning without external sources. That is a simple framework, but a massive difference in output quality. How Perplexity actually works. Let me walk through what actually happens when you ask Perplexity a question. Step 1, it takes your question and generates a bunch of search queries, not one, but multiple queries designed to cover different angles to do with your question. Step 2, it retrieves web pages, articles, reports, actual searches from across the internet. Step 3, it reads and synthesizes that information. Step 4, it cites every claim with a numbered reference. Step 5, it presents a structured answer with clickable sources. Now, what most people get wrong is that they see the citations and assume that that means that the answer is correct, but it doesn't. Citations simply mean, this is where I got this information, not this information is true. So you also need to build a verification habit. First, open the sources, don't just read the answer, click through. Second, cross-check, does the source actually say what Perplexity claims? Third, look for primary sources, the study, the official report, the company statement. Fourth, check dates. Is this current or is this 3 years old? 5, triangulate. Do multiple independent sources agree? That habit alone is going to put you ahead of 95% of people using AI tools, and it takes about 2 minutes. How to spot when Perplexity is bluffing. Perplexity is confident even when it shouldn't be. Vague sourcing, like if you see according to sources without naming them, that's a red flag. Mismatched citations. The source is there, but it doesn't actually support the claim being made. Too neat conclusions, complex questions with suspiciously simple answers. Missing constraints. It ignores outliers or conflicting evidence. And overconfidence. No caveats, no uncertainties, no it depends, no but also's. Just this is the answer. For any claim that matters to your business, ask these 5 questions. What is the source, primary or secondary? When was it published? Who wrote it? What are their incentives? What's the methodology? And is there contradicting evidence? These are 8 question patterns that get useful answers in Perplexity. Most people ask vague questions and get vague answers, and the fix isn't better prompting, it's better question design. Here are 8 patterns that work brilliantly for business use. Comparison. Compare A and B on this criterion. Perfect for tool selection, vendor evaluation, market positioning. Timeline. What changed between that date and this date? Great for tracking market shifts, regulatory changes, competitor moves. Decision brief. What are the trade-offs of option A? This is ideal when you're weighing up strategic decisions. Market scan. Who are the top 5 players in this market and what are they doing? Competitor intelligence in minutes. Update. What's new since this date? Keeps you current without the daily scroll. Primary sources. Show me primary research on this topic. Cuts through commentary to find the actual studies and data. Steelman. What's the strongest case for and against this position? It forces balanced thinking before you commit to a direction. Confidence check. What would change this conclusion? It reveals the assumptions behind the answer. But you never stop at the first answer. Follow up. Ask Perplexity, what assumptions are you making? Or what are the edge cases? Or if experts disagreed, what would each side argue? That is how you turn Perplexity from a fact machine into a reasoning partner. And when you're asking a question, set constraints. Tell Perplexity what good enough looks like. Time frame in the last 6 months, geography, UK-based companies, source type. I want you to look at peer-reviewed studies or social media. Depth. Give me 3 examples, not a comprehensive overview. The more specific your question, the more useful your answer. Now I'm going to talk about the features in Perplexity AI that actually matter. And the first is settings. The 2 settings that matter the most are your AI data retention. Turn this off. You do not want your conversations used to train Perplexity's models. Your business conversations, your competitive research, your strategic questions, that's your data. Second, personalization. Set this up properly. Include your professional context, your primary use case, your source preferences, and this is the one most people miss, critical thinking instructions. Tell it to flag conflicting sources and thin evidence. Tell it to skip generic disclaimers and preamble. That one change transforms the quality of every single answer you get. Deep research. This is where it gets serious. Deep research doesn't just search and summarize, it autonomously runs dozens of searches, reads many sources, and reasons through them to produce a structured report. It asks you clarifying questions, cross-references more heavily, and produces something you can actually export, like a PDF or a Perplexity page. This is the difference between getting a quick answer and getting a work product. Use deep research when you need a brief, a report, or a recommendation that someone else will read. Perplexity Deep Research is much more powerful than ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, even though it uses their models. And by the way, when Perplexity uses ChatGPT or Claude's models, it is a completely different experience to using Opus 4.6 or GPT 5.3 in ChatGPT or Claude. It is not the same. It is search first, so that means it doesn't replace Claude or ChatGPT. Speaking of models, Model Council lets you select 3 different AI models for a single question. Each produces an independent answer, then Perplexity compares them in a structured table. This matters because 2 equally capable models can prioritize different sources, and Model Council automates the comparison so you can see where they agree and where they don't without having to do it manually. It is only available on the Max plan, which is currently $200 per month. Spaces are project folders for your threads. Your threads are your chats in Perplexity. Use Spaces to organize your research by project, client, or topic. Set custom instructions and a preferred model per space. If you're doing ongoing competitive intelligence or market monitoring, Spaces are essential. Perplexity Computer. Oh my God, this is brand new. It is effectively an AI agent, a digital worker that can use your computer to run multi-step workflows. It can open pages, automate research, extract data, create documents and presentations, and connect to tools like Gmail, Outlook, Slack, Notion, GitHub, and Salesforce. Perplexity says, Perplexity answers your questions, computer does your work. Perplexity Computer is only available on the Max plan at $200 per month, and complex tasks use credits on top of that. So before you run a task, ask Perplexity how many credits it will cost. That way you're in control of what you spend or you don't hit your limits too quickly. The best way to use computer is via connectors. Here I connected Perplexity to Notion and asked it to take my Perplexity Super User webinar and turn it into a script for a YouTube video using my template on YouTube. I asked it to find a target keyword that was underserved but had real search volume. And in a few minutes, I had my script, my title, my filming instructions, and my description. Don't worry, I kept a human in the loop, so you will notice that the script that Perplexity provided has been dramatically updated and modified substantially for this video. Let me give you 4 workflows you can start using immediately. Workflow 1, competitor research. Start with, who are the top 5 competitors to my company in this market? Then dig deeper, what is this competitor's positioning and pricing strategy? Then, what are customers saying about them on Reddit and review sites? And then, what's changed in their product in the last 6 months? Compile it into a page. You've just built a cited competitor brief in a few minutes. But now you gotta read it. Workflow 2, decision making. Compare tool A and tool B for this use case based on user reviews. Then, what are the main complaints about tool A? What are the main complaints about tool B? What's the pricing difference for a team of 3? And what would make tool B a better choice? You've just built a decision matrix with actual sources. Workflow 3, market intelligence. Set up a space for market intelligence. Weekly, what's new in your industry this week? Monthly, what are the emerging trends in your market? Save the threads, review patterns, spot opportunities before your competitors do. Workflow 4, sales and client work. Before a pitch or a presentation, research the prospect's company, their market, their recent news. Before a proposal, gather evidence, case studies, and market context. Before due diligence, research vendors, partners, or potential hires with cited sources you can actually verify. Perplexity doesn't replace your judgment. That's actually what Perplexity told me to say. If you think anything replaces your judgment, then you are seriously going to be lost. So I'm like, whatever. Perplexity doesn't replace your judgment, obviously. It accelerates your research so you can spend your time on the thinking that actually matters. Please don't let it replace your judgment. Come on, people. So these are 5 mistakes to avoid when using Perplexity. Don't over-rely on one source, always triangulate. Don't ignore recency, check whether the information is actually current. Don't mistake confidence for accuracy. Perplexity sounds sure even when it shouldn't. Don't confuse summarization with insight. Obviously, it just tells you what happened. It doesn't tell you what it means for your business. That's your job. Back to that judgment thing, people. And don't stop at one question. One question almost never gives you the full picture. Iterate, be curious. On data handling, if you're a free user, your queries are not private. Pro users, your queries are kind of private, but don't paste sensitive data into the tool. Whatever plan you're on, anonymize or paraphrase sensitive questions. That's basic information hygiene, data hygiene, whatever you want to call it. So there are 3 things to take away from this video. First, Perplexity is not a chatbot. It is a search-forward reasoning engine. Once you internalize that, you use it completely differently. Second, citations are a starting point, not proof. Your job is still to verify and make sure that what you say is true. Open the sources, cross-check the claims, look for what's missing. That habit alone puts you ahead of so many people. Third, stop prompting, start investigating. Use the 8 question patterns. Chain your follow-ups. Treat every answer as the beginning of a conversation, not the end. So here's what I want you to do right now. Open Perplexity, go to settings, turn off AI data retention, set up your personalization, create one space for your most important current project, write one investigable question using the patterns we covered, run it, click the citations, see what's actually there. 5 minutes and you'll already be using Perplexity better than most people who've had it for months. If you want more sessions like this, hands-on, practical, no-nonsense AI training for leaders that is intelligent, which is not the same as being enthusiastic, then check out the AI edit because it gives you access to this and so much more. And if this video was useful, come on, subscribe, give it a like. That really helps me. The video was free. All you have to do is subscribe. Even if you give it a thumbs down, that's better than nothing because it tells YouTube you cared. Thanks for watching. Now go investigate something. Thumbs up though, please.